On behalf of Raj Bhavan, I extend to all of you a very warm and hearty welcome to this program of release of this coffee table book, which is entitled 30 Days of Mission Humanity. On this occasion, we will also be felicitating two very distinguished personalities. I have the pleasure of introducing this coffee table book. As you may all recall that on the 16th of September, on the eve of the 71st birthday of the Honorable Prime Minister Shri Narendra Modi, Honorable Governor had announced financial assistance to 71 social service institutions and 71 dialysis patients. This was a unique initiative which was undertaken by Raj Bhavan, and never before in the history of Raj Bhavan has such an exercise been undertaken. We lost no time as we started to receive applications, and we did the inaugural function on 8th of October, in which we had the Honorable Chief Minister, the Honorable Leader of Opposition, the local MLA, and the Honorable Minister was also present. His Holiness of Tapobhumi and His Holiness Archbishop were also present. And at this function, inaugural function, all of them hailed this noble initiative, and they said that they have never seen a governor who has undertaken such a philanthropic, charity and humanitarian cause. This scheme was not just about dispersing aid from Raj Bhavan by way of some post or something like that. On the same day, Honorable Governor announced that he would be traveling to all these institutions, and he will go to their doorstep and he will disperse the aid at their doorstep, and also to the dialysis patients. So after this began this very hectic journey of 30 days from 8th October to 7th November, and he traveled to all the remote villages, traversing hundreds of kilometers, and he met hundreds of inmates in all these ashrams and these shelter homes. The old, the elders, the children, there were many differentially abled children, there were HIV affected children. He met all of them, and he also interacted with the managers of these institutions who had devoted their lives for the cause of care of these children. So it was an act of God, as he described it. So, and then he saw the extraordinary talents being displayed by these children. Many of them were rank holders, and he was so happy, and we could share all those emotions with all these children. There were many happy moments spent. And there was another surprise in store when Honorable Governor invited all these children and the elders to come to Raj Bhavan and have a cup of tea over him. So we had all these children, true to his word, Raj Bhavan organized these kind of programs in the first week of November, and we had so many children and so many elders who came to Raj Bhavan. They had Raj Bhavan darshan, and they spent a wonderful time with the Honorable Governor and the First Lady. So this is the kind of journey, a very eventful journey, a very emotional journey that captures all the moods during these 30 days. It's a visual treat. It has very less text, and it's all about a mission which is about zeal, and it comes from the bottom of the heart, and it's all about compassion and kindness to the people of Goa here. Hence it is entitled as Mission Humanity. So we are privileged to have with us our Honorable Governor. I extend to him a very, very warm welcome. He is the one who conceived this idea, and it has been executed by the Raj Bhavan staff. A warm welcome to you, sir. I also welcome the First Lady, Madam Rita Sridharan. She has accompanied the Governor in most of these visits and has ably assisted him in the discharge of this duty. A very warm welcome to you, madam. Today we have with us the honor of retired Justice Cyriac Joseph being present with us. He was a Supreme Court judge for 4 years, and then he has served with the National Human Rights Commission, and presently he is the Lokayukta in the state of Goa. A very, very warm welcome to you, sir, on this occasion. We are also extremely happy to have with us Rear Admiral Sri P.G. Painamuthil. He is the FOGA, the flag commanding officer of the Goa Naval Area, and he was awarded the Ati Vishishta Seva medal recently by the Honorable President of India. A very warm welcome to you, sir, to this function. Then we have with us a very famous personality. He needs no introduction. Bhai, as he is affectionately called by everybody here, Sri Damodar Mauzo. He is the winner of the Jnanapith Award. And I extend to you, sir, a very, very warm welcome today, and all his family members who are today here present with us. Today we have with us also a list of institutions, beneficiaries who are getting financial aid as the journey continues, and we are also having a number of dialysis patients who are in need of some kind of expenditure to meet some of their needs other than the government assistance that they are getting. I welcome all of them today, as they are a very important constituent of this whole scheme. A very warm welcome also to all the other distinguished guests and the press and media, and I am sure that we will have a memorable occasion today. Thank you so much.
It's now time to felicitate our awardees. I would request His Excellency, the Honorable Governor of Goa, to kindly felicitate Flag Officer Commanding Goa Naval Area, Rear Admiral Philippos G. Painamuthil, sir, for the award that he received in the hands of the President, and will be felicitating sir now. I would request His Excellency, the Governor of Goa, to kindly felicitate our awardee. Now, once again, request His Excellency, the Governor of Goa, to kindly felicitate our awardee, the prestigious Jnanapith Award, Shri Damodar Mauzo. It's time to felicitate our awardee. I now would like to request His Excellency, the Honorable Governor of Goa, to kindly inspire us all with his words of wisdom and his knowledge. Thank you so much.
Honorable Justice Sadiq Joseph sir, Honorable Damodar Mauzo, Honorable Rear Admiral Philippos Painamuthil, distinguished guests, and my dear friends. Our Honorable Justice stated with respect to democracy, and is one of the best speakers in Kerala in English as well as in Malayalam. Just I look into the audience, where exactly our democracy is lies. I would like to you people look into the front row and both sides. One is the ruling party's state person sitting here, on the other side, main opposition party's state person sitting with a smile, smiling each other. So, democracy is concerned, right to differ is the basis. And of course, in our country, there is not only one party, multi-party system is prevailing. And the world considers our country is the best a democratic system in the world. So I thought of, they allowed 15 minutes to me, then I requested the organizers that I need only 5 minutes. But today morning, when I go through the news items, I found that today is an important day, not only for India, it is for Bangladesh also. So the liberation of Bangladesh, this is the auspicious day, 50th anniversary day. As far as Goa is concerned, 19, our Prime Minister is coming to Goa for celebrating that auspicious day of liberation of Goa. And in the morning I think both these countries are concerned, both these places are concerned, Bangladesh as well as Goa is concerned. Its liberation movement, we are thinking after 50 years or 60 years, the clear picture is not yet to reach to the new generation. Bangladesh Prime Minister today issued a message to the world. I had occasion to go through it in full. I don't want to find fault with anything there. What was the role of India in 1971 regarding the birth of Bangladesh? I don't know. I am not as a governor, I can't make any comment on that. So our Honorable Justice Siraj Joseph sir, the question with respect to the relevant role of writers also, and we had occasion to hear our Damodarji also. What actually happened in Bangladesh and what actually happened with respect to our liberation movement? There are so many questions to be answered. Questions remain unanswered. One common thing is there, that Bangladesh is concerned. Of course, we all know it was part of Pakistan, and in 1947, in the name of religion and other things, before the cabinet mission, there were 3 representations in 1946. One is for a united India, other for India should be divided on 2 lines, 2 separate countries are required, sovereign, and another representation also 16 sovereign republics are required. Anyway, they decided, Britishers decided to divide India. Then what happened to those people in 1947, went to Pakistan and went to the present Bangladesh? And there is a question to be discussed. I don't know whether anywhere that was discussed. Discussion means not to conduct a post-mortem and finding fault with one aspect or another aspect and blame each other or who is guilty for that. I am not intending that. But history is a flow. History, from that flow, it is the duty of the society, especially writers and ministers, historians, to take what we needed, be taken, and pass it on to the coming generations. Bangladesh is concerned, the most important thing touched my mind is that their great victory day they are celebrating. The movement is started in 1948-52. On the basis of a language, a movement was started. Bangladesh liberation is in fact, it was the product of Dhaka University students. Then for what they stood, I need not explain in this within short time, it is not proper on me. But Dhaka University students started agitation against Urdu, and they pleaded and fought for Bengali language, and their commitment to that finally became the Awami League, and its leader Awami League starting and all those things. That is part of the history. I am not going to that. But again, that movement led by students, finally where it reached. In 1971, a country was formed. Later, one stage it was declared as a religious dominated country, theocratic state. Again, it was changed. So many changes are there. I don't want to go into that. But their national anthem, Rabindranath Tagore's Amar Sonar Bangla. Even a religious country opted Rabindranath Tagore's national anthem. Because we had occasion to wrote 3 national anthems. Ceylon's national anthem also. Of course, his disciple's name is there, but history says that he was the person behind it, and his followers' name is known. So 3 national anthems were prepared by Rabindranath Tagore. While Jnanapith Award winner, a great person, is here. So change can be made by such types of people. Mass cannot change a society. Society can change mainly by writers. That is why I quoted this Bangladesh. And whatever it may be, Bangladesh is concerned, its main contribution originated from literary works, Rabindranath Tagore, Bengal language, and a country made in the name of religion. What happened to it? Academics should think about it. Unfortunately, never any books as such is seen in our society. So language movement and its after effects are there. Sheikh Mujibur Rahman was killed in 1975, father of the nation. Then, sir, about 21 years, there was not even a crime in Bangladesh. Then his daughter came to power. Later, a new FIR registered and investigation was conducted, and 30 people are punished. So our state is also concerned. 60th year we are going to celebrate. But actually this movement is concerned. Dr. Raman Lohia's speech in 1946. I heard about that in some meetings prior to becoming the governor of Goa. When I reached here, I asked our secretary, can you arrange that book? Unfortunately, in our library, it is supposed to be a very good library. That was not there. Ramanuru Lohiya's books are not there. Deendayal Upadhyay's books are not there. Gandhiji's collection of works are not there. Then on the second day, I felt ashamed and asked them to purchase it. So with the pain I am saying, if you are not giving importance to writers, books, and the cream of society, I am not saying everybody should read everything. But there should be persistent effort for a cream of society. Arnold Toynbee, this concept of that creative minority. A creative minority can change the society. Where is that creative minority is the question to be answered. In 1947, from Calicut, from Lucknow, and so many places, from Mumbai, people went to Pakistan. West Pakistan is known as Muhajir Muslim Indians. What will happen to them? Whether in the name of religion inspired by them, went to Pakistan by bidding farewell to their own family members, their own community members, their own neighbors, their own land, everything. Inspired by religion, went to that place. What happened to Muhajir Muslims? Whether Karachi society or any society accepted them. Muhajir Qawmi movement. Atrocities are concerned. Maximum atrocities suffered by Pakistani Muhajir Muslims, MQM, and most of its leaders are now got shelter in London. So, inspired by a religion, our nationhood and other things are based on religion. Those who have migrated to East Pakistan is called as Bihari Muslims. What has happened to them? Whenever they are getting a chance, they are coming to India. Our honorable judge stated with respect to military and other things. Sir, my impression also while I was in Kerala about the role of military, my mind was limited. I am not saying that such mind is limited. But every day, Myanmar borders, I realized only 3 years back when I became the governor, the border what they are suffering. Bangladesh border is there, Myanmar border is there. In that border, how they are suffering every day, every hour, every minute. That is, of course, I don't know Goa. Kerala people are not aware of that. Such a difficult situation is not there. Dangerous situation is not surveyed by Kerala. Whenever getting a chance, from Myanmar people are coming here. Whenever getting a chance, people from Mizoram, they are going. 16 years they are allowed to go ingress and egress freely. All types of smuggling and other things are going on. That struggle, difficulties faced by our these types of armed forces. I had occasion to see. I went to some place. Sir, in Bangladesh, in Mizoram, near the Bangladesh district, I tried my level best to travel instead of sitting in the platform. Then, nearby Bangladesh, there is a district. In that district, tar road, the Tame tar road is alien to them. Not even a single person in that district had occasion to see a tar road in 2020. That situation I am placing before you. But there in our Assam Tribal Foods and others, by walking and other things, they are going day to day. Food and other items through helicopter we are giving. So such a situation is there. And I would like to say, we'll think about all these things, and as far as we are concerned, writing is the most important thing, because with respect to Damodarji's book also, a translator of the book Malayalam, she is sitting there near Sri Pachumena. So that I had an occasion when I visited Jnanapith Award, in his house, he has presented me a book. I have not completely read it. That book. Of course, I have visited 41 or 42 orphanages within this 1 month. But his book is related to orphan. Carmelina is the name of such an orphan. Went to Gulf, suffered a lot, and for the struggle for existence is narrated in that book. It is only writer can write, but society is duty bound to develop. We will pass it on to our children and new generation. So that is my request. And as far as I am concerned, I believe that whether governor, whether judge, whether minister, chief minister, or political leader, or bureaucrat, people are supreme. People are supreme. All others, including judges, governor, and everybody, is below that. As far as politicians are concerned, we offer to serve the people. Whether anybody in my village, Sridharamallai's village, people call me, you come and become a leader. Now I volunteered myself, I am prepared to serve the people. And slowly, people or movements decided that you will be in the top. Politically, two prominent political parties, state presidents are here. Now, all political leaders have got heights more than the ordinary people. But while people are placing up in shoulders and accepting as leaders, then he will be more height. And don't think that people are, we will think that people are supreme and only because of their support. And corruption is concerned also. My view is that we will serve the people. In 2003 to 6, I was appointed as the state president of a particular political party. At that time, ruling India. At that time, sir, you are remembering, you are the High Court judge. At that time, I resigned my post as a Central Government Senior Standing Council and CBI Standing Council. I was holding. My organization asked me to resign. Then I put one condition to our party leaders. At least allow me to go to court one day. That is why, sir, you are right against me. A full-time politician, how you can practicing that aspect is known to serve at that time. I am not any names are mentioned. But one day I went to the court and getting some income, taking my livelihood and my family. And such things I followed. Now God, I never asked in my life from any political leaders, any post from them. So far in my life I never asked. But everything is given to me by my organization. So a good, transparent political system is required, and friendship between all politicians. So in one of my books, a foreword was one of the points raised, Sridharamallai is a strong politician, staunch politician, strong politician like that, then stated that he has got more friends in other political parties than his political party. So, for the existence of the democracy, right to differ is the basis, but at the same time we should respect each other, and we will serve the people. For that purpose, 30 days book is, of course, our secretary is so particular to write such a book. I told them no. Then he stated that this will be a classic example, we can send it to all parts of the country, and that is why he prepared it. And extending my sincere thanks to the secretary of that also, and your presence itself is strengthening me more and more, and expressing my sincere thanks to all. Thank you very much. Jai Hind, Jai Goa.
I would now request Mrs. Macy Risa, Private Secretary to the Honorable Governor, to kindly propose the vote of thanks.
If you like this video, please do not forget to subscribe and hit the like button.